Ever feel like breakups should come with like a roadmap or something?
Right. Some emotional GPS.
Totally. Well, get ready to navigate heartbreak, because today we're diving into a proposed podcast outline called Heartbreak to Healing.
Sounds right up our alley.
It promises a structured approach to healing, which I am here for. Let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Episode 1 dives straight into the emotional blender that is a breakup.
Ugh, yeah. It's like grief, relief, confusion, all fighting for a microphone in your head.
Exactly. And they're actually bringing in a therapist to break down the stages of grief. But here's the interesting part, specifically in the context of relationships.
It's so true, though, right? We always think about grief with death, but letting go of a relationship, even if you're the one hitting the eject button, it's a whole grieving process on its own.
Absolutely. Okay, then episode 2 digs into why relationships bite the dust. The usual suspects are there, communication, trust issues, but get this.
Hit me with it.
They're also looking at the role of misaligned values and life goals. So sometimes it's not a huge blow up, but more like you're just on different paths.
Right, you just grow apart.
Yeah.
And they're bringing in a relationship expert to help listeners spot those patterns in their own relationship history, which I love.
Oh, that's good.
Because once you see those patterns, you can break those cycles.
It's like relationship self-awareness.
Wow.
Love it. Okay, episode 3 has a really thought-provoking title, The Role of Timing and Circumstances.
Ooh, intriguing.
They talk about how outside forces, like crazy work stress or even moving, can really put a strain on relationships.
It's true. We always think it's just the relationship stuff, but life throws curveballs.
Yeah.
They also talk about readiness for commitment.
Yes.
Like, is each person truly in the right headspace to show up fully in a relationship? So good.
Okay, episode 4, Things Get Real. Loneliness, rejection, all those raw post-breakup feels. Thankfully, they're getting a mental health professional to give listeners some coping strategies.
Because it's one thing to understand why you feel like garbage, but how do you actually deal with it?
Right, you need those tools.
Exactly. So smart.
Okay, buckle up, because episode 5 is all about busting those breakup myths.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's debunk some myths.
They're taking on those ideas like you have to move on quickly or that closure is always possible, which, let's be honest, we've all fallen for those.
Yeah.
And they've got our relationship author to set the record straight.
It's so important because those unrealistic expectations just add another layer of pressure when you're already down. Love it.
Okay, once you've ditched those myths, episode 6 swoops in with actual steps for moving on.
Okay, I like where this is going. Practical tips.
Yes. Think self-care central. Journaling, exercise, therapy, like all the good stuff we know we should be doing, but let's be honest, breakups don't make self-care easy.
It's the hardest time to do it, but the most important.
For real. And they also highlight setting boundaries with your ex.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So important for creating that space to heal.
Absolutely. And because you don't have to go through this alone, episode 7 is all about your support system.
Our people.
Exactly. Friends, family, those ride or die people in your life. They even have a friendship expert to talk about how to navigate those waters post-breakup, because sometimes those conversations can be tricky.
Oh, for sure. It can
Yeah.
be awkward. Like, how much do I share? How do I support them? I need this episode.
Don't we all? Okay, finally, episode 8 guides us towards closure and rebuilding.
The light at the end of the tunnel.
They're going to explore techniques for achieving emotional closure, which isn't always easy. But on the rebuilding side, they have a relationship coach who'll be sharing insights into developing healthier dating patterns when you're ready.
I love that they acknowledge that healing isn't linear. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back sometimes. It's messy, right?
Totally. Wow. So this Heartbreak to Healing podcast, really comprehensive. What's your big takeaway?
Honestly, it's the emphasis on the healing process. Breakups hurt, but it's a journey, not a destination.
Well said. And to anyone out there nursing a broken heart, remember you're not alone and healing is possible.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This whole thing got me thinking, though. They focus on romantic relationships, but these stages, these insights, could they also apply to other relationships that fall apart, like friendships or even family?
That's a really good question.
Something to think about.